Doris Day. Now, Doris Day is someone I probably never took seriously because I've been a bit single-minded with my fandom. I was sort of loved Marilyn Monroe, so I didn't love anyone else. I loved Madonna, so I didn't love anyone else. You know, I loved Star Trek, so I didn't watch any other sci-fi. I was a little bit like that until, you know, I pulled my head out of and started to look at everyone else. And I amassed a few Doris Day movies, which I never watched. But I sat down recently, I watched Madam X. Yes, Madonna fans, Madam X. There was a Madam X before Madonna. And she was, and I kind of understand where the Madam X name came from for Madonna now, because she basically, she has an affair on her husband with Ricardo Montalban. Can't blame her. She accidentally kills him, and she goes on the run to save her family. She fakes her death and goes on the run to save her family's shame. And then she takes on other personas, and it's not so much like Catch Me If You Can, where she's literally playing different characters. But it's still, you get the idea of being different people in that. So that story works, and the end is absolutely heartbreakingly tragic. And I was crying, and it's just so over the top and melodramatic. Oh my God, it works. So that was great. And then I watched her other two classic sort of films, Pillow Talk and, oh my God, what's the other film called? Pillow Talk and Lover Come Back. Now, Pillow Talk is the first one she did with Rock Hudson. Oh my God, he was beautiful. And he was gay. And no one knew. And it's so fascinating to watch now. Although it's really funny, they actually do make a couple of jokes in the film. One about him even being gay. And I'm like, that was bold. Were they making fun of that? They knew that? Or did that just happen organically on its own? That was fascinating. But it's basically, God, it's funny. Apparently once upon a time when there weren't enough phone lines in New York, there were party lines where people would share a line. So you could be making a call and your neighbour could pick up and listen in or try and make a call, and you had to sort of negotiate sort of two people or multiple people sharing the same line. So she's on the line. Doris Day's sharing the line with Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson is a playboy, and he's always calling a different girl, chatting with a different girl, and she's sick of it. And eventually he works out who she is, and he plays a trick on her and pretends to be this guy from the country and all that, and it's pretty cruel, but he ends up falling in love with her. She finds out who he is, but she eventually gives in and falls in love with him as well, and it works. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of jokes that I thought were quite, they still held up. Now the next film, Lover Come Back, wasn't quite as good because they basically were just playing the same formula. They even had his best friend was played by the same actor, and they really were just like, well, that formula worked the first time, let's do it again. I guess they got paid enough money for it, they did it. It wasn't as good though, but it was still good. Basically, there's a advertising executive who's a playboy, and he's really annoying, the Doris Day character, and she tries to beat him, and he makes up this fake product, and they market it, and it's a hit, but it doesn't exist, and they have to get out of that problem, and he has to not let her catch on who he really is, and eventually she does, and they end up falling in love anyway. It's the same formula as the other film, but it works. It was enjoyable. I don't know if they did any more films together, but the next film I watched of hers, because I watched 4, I did a little marathon, was Move Over Darling, which was Marilyn Monroe's final film. Was a remake of My Favorite Wife, starring Irene Dunne and I think Cary Grant, and then her and one of the Rat Pack was in that together, but she died before they finished the film. About half an hour of the film was edited together, the scenes that were finished, so we have a bit of an idea of how the film was going. She never finished it, and then the next year, in 1963, they remade the film with Doris Day and some very dull actor. I can't remember who he is. But it was just interesting to see the story play out, to see how it ended. Now, they actually had Thelma Ritter come in and play her mother-in-law, who I don't think was ever meant to be in the original. I'm not sure who was in the Irene Dunne version. I never saw that, although they do mention that in the film and talk about life. Now, life isn't like films in the film or making the film. So it was all very interesting, and she plays it. She doesn't try and play it like Marilyn would have. She plays it in her own way. The Thelma Ritter character really helps. The Bianca character, the wife, because they declare that the Marilyn character got lost at sea and ended up on an island for 5 years with some guy. She comes back just in time to see her husband have her declared dead and marry another woman who's been in love with her for a couple of years. And she was played by a different actress in the other film, of course, and she was very sexy, and you can understand how he ended up with her. But the actress in this one is just not very appealing. And Doris Day plays it a lot more down to earth. And it was just interesting to see how it ended, to see how it was played out, and how the characters, I assume they didn't make a lot of changes between the films. They added in the mother-in-law. I think that's about it. And I just always wanted to see it, because it's the closest thing we'll get to seeing, the finished version that Marilyn never finished, because she passed before she finished it. So it was just interesting on that. I guess Doris played it like all the other films. She has that sort of down to sort of earth sort of appeal that she had. She was sort of the every woman, but for a little bit of glamour. So yeah, it was just interesting to see how she played that out. But the best of the four, I don't know, actually, what was it? Madam X was really good. Have I confused the films? Have I confused Lana Turner? Have I confused Black Widow with Madam X? Or Midnight Lace? Oh no, Midnight Lace was the one with Doris Day. Oh my God, Madam X was actually Lana Turner. They look a little similar, give me a break. But yeah. Oops. I wanted to review the film anyway, but I did watch them separately. I just got them confused when I was thinking about which film was of her. And it's probably because on my calendar where I've got all the films that I watched, it's just right next to the other films. Yeah, Midnight Lace. Damn it. Do I talk about Midnight Lace? Midnight Lace is a bit of gaslighting. The film is a woman thinks she's been stalked. Someone keeps calling her. She hears a voice in the fog. Now I can remember it perfectly. And of course it's Doris Day. You don't want anything bad to happen to Doris Day, and she's of course helpless because she's such a good sort of person. And eventually you find out it's actually the whole time, because they have a hard time convincing the police it's real and convincing the husband it's real, but eventually the guy is heard by someone else, and eventually you find out it's actually the husband who's trying to drive her crazy so he can fake her death because he wants her money. And Rex Harrison is the husband. It's kind of surprising. You didn't totally see it coming, but kind of saw it coming, but not totally. And you feel her pain. There's another guy who's in the film who played the boyfriend in Psycho, who is really handsome, and you're just watching him the whole time and like wanting them to get together, because Rex Harrison, even if he's not the killer, he's still not good enough for Doris. So they do end up in the end, and he rescues her in the end, and it's quite a thrilling end where she has to climb out on a scaffolding to escape the husband who's in the house, who's trying to kill her, but the police are outside, so they know, but they can't save her, but they can't get to him. It's quite well staged. Eventually the guy rescues her, they go off together, and you just know they end up happily ever after. And I can't believe I confused it with Madam X. But I mean, I guess I'm doing a review of all these films now. I may as well talk about Black Widow as well. Black Widow is... no, I can't go into Black Widow. This is too long. I'm already up to 10 minutes. But I just had these classic movies that all by classic actresses by Doris Day and Lana Turner and that. And I wanted to watch them. They've been sitting there for ages. I finally sat down and marathoned them all together, and that's why I got them confused. And then I did the lighter, sort of happier sort of Doris Day films with I can't remember his name. I'm awful. Thank God I'm not trying to work as a film reviewer. How am I drawing a blank? Either way, I watched those films separately, and that's why when I had to think, what was that dark film she did, the one where she did a little dark turn and did a mystery or thriller, Oh, it was Madam X. No, it wasn't Madam X. But I just was talking about Madonna, so I probably was thinking Madam X because of that. But yeah, so Midnight and Lace, she did that. That was quite good. And of course, Pillow Talk, Love Her Come Back, same formula, but great. And you know, Darling was really just. I just really want to see, you know, what happened with the film, how it ended, because I've seen the start of Something's Got to Give so many times. I'm so familiar with how that film starts off and the setup, but you never got to see where it went and how it ended. So I always want to see Remember Darling just to see how the story ended and you know, how it went. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Sorry for this absolute mess of a review, but it's not really a review. I'm just sharing these movies that I enjoyed, and I still talked about all of them, even if I confuse the actresses for a minute. I'm going to go.